Hello, hello! It's time to get started. Starting like 30 minutes later than how I normally want to schedule it, but I had to pick up some stuff for a thing I'm doing on Sunday, so it is what it is. Well, hello. I'm finally continuing Greatest Attorney. It's been like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Oh god, it's been a while. But yeah, I had a few other things I had to do. So I'm finally able to continue after a while. I am on episode 3 of the second game. So far we learned that the guy on trial is some sort of professor, kind of scientist guy, and then the case is that he supposedly killed the guy that he was doing a test on. So we're gonna have to see what that's all about. And he's apparently known Van Zieks from the past, so that was interesting. Also, we're back in present day. The first 2 episodes of the case were present day, and then the second episode was like kind of like a semi-flashback to something that happened in the first game, but technically didn't happen in the first game because we didn't actually play it through that case, so that was interesting. So let's go on and see what this trial has in store for us as we continue on. Hi Nenzoku, welcome, welcome. I hope you have a good chill time, as there's gonna be a lot of reading. And I mean a lot of reading. Alright. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. I haven't done these voice stuff in a while, so you will have to pardon me as I have to get reacclimated. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Oh yeah, what voice did I give Professor Hairbrain? Oh yeah, I made him like kind of like Doofenshmirtz. Let me see.
Ah, Perry the Platypus. What should I say? Capture the platypus.
So, close. Alright.
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo.
Good morning, Professor Hairbrain.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It's crushing me.
I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity.
Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's filled with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure?
I think it's probably all in the mind.
Ah, yes. Well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life! To save the secret of my super high-voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public.
Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail.
My commiseration. I'm gonna assume this is Sholmes? My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here. Oh, it is him. Yep, I got it. Mr. Sholmes! I didn't expect to see you here.
That was very mean, Runo. Leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him.
Ah! Ooh! Ah! Is it? Are you? Sherlock Holmes?
Indeed. Sir, I am he. Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany.
Ah, yes. Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany, too.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventure of Silver Blaze was wonderful.
Ah, yes.
A memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, that was the speckled bond.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay.
Oh,
I have urgent business at Madame Tuspel's.
you mean your waxwork job?
No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services.
Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you?
The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention.
Oh, well, never mind then. I understand.
Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description.
Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's interactable mysteries, you might say.
Oh, yes. Quite definitely. Absolutely. I totally understand.
Is someone a little starstruck?
I wish you the best of luck, Professor Hairbrain.
Oh, why thank you.
Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please.
What's this about?
As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition
Is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success.
Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Runo, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree. But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding, in fact, succeed? That's contradictory.
And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt.
What's that supposed to mean?
Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Hurley. Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Runo. But chin up, you can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
Ah, no, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do.
I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you. When you find out what it is.
Aha, that sounds ominous.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once.
We're on our way. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Renosuke. That's the key to this case. Ooh, we got some new faces in the jury this time.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrained. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready.
The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice. And what's more, sad, I'm without Susato-san today. Ugh. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual?
So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Marty Osmond.
Mr. Osmond was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities.
It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zeeks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed, by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom.
But 2 days ago, on the 21st of October, Mr. Osmond met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it?
If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Osmond's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrained.
Very well, then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty?
Ooh, okay, so we got like new members, and I have to figure out what kind of voices I'm
Hey, I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh. Oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials are all or nothing more than performances.
Any spurious fellow that defies the reputation of science deserves to hang.
I have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence and, then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
Oh, it's the policeman from the dummy place. No, wait, it's a different guy. He looks kind of close, though.
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
That's... Oh, it is him. That's... The police killer Ottermole look-alike again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems.
Now, as I'm sure you all are aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening.
Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators.
A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world, will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zeeks.
At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world.
One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage.
The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
Good lord!
It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity, and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled.
Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking.
Huh! This whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field. I am. And my word on the matter can be considered final. His instantaneous kinesis is poppycock.
So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
What is the prosecution's view on the matter?
The prosecution would assert that the accused instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success.
What?
What rot! Order, order!
The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have a merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused may use the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmund's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
But...
This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim.
I don't think I'm hitting my Van Zeek's voice correctly, but we'll see.
Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Gladly, my lord.
Alright, capes off.
Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand.
Okay, so we got Hairbrain and we got, Gregson.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Hairbrain, scientist.
You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery. Which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition.
What you demonstrated was incredible, all right. An incredible explosion.
But the science! The science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was that terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it? Oh.
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less.
That's right, my lord. Seems the victim ran right straight into it.
I see. Very well. Submit this photograph to as evidence.
Okay, it's been entered into evidence.
As the court's heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Audie Osmond. Asmond? Whatever. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself.
I see. So, to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct?
Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration?
That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine!
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the special Dispensation for Science Equipment Act.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness?
What? Sorry, me?
No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir. It was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
What? How can he possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
Okay, so while they're doing this, while we have this screen, I'm gonna go BRB real quick because I'm having some. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. Okay, I'll be back. Alright, quick bathroom is done. I am now ready to continue this little bit now. Okay, here we go.
The corpse someone crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck.
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam protection, that's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So, the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one who could have done it.
Okay. We do have the crossbow from the last time. I guess we'll see.
An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart.
Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge.
The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that.
You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
No! That couldn't be further from the truth!
I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stood himself inside something called the bird cage.
Okay, good to know.
Ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the Crystal Tower, about 25 yards away.
The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the bird cage materializing in midair, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower's large round window. My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower, then?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you.
No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel.
Okay, autopsy report is submitted to the record. So, his neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall, and he was stabbed in the chest with a sharp object. So I have a very sneaking suspicion that that sharp object was definitely an arrow from the crossbow that we found on the previous part of this particular case.
I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on the stage with Mr. Osmond was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. Yeah, me too, Ryunosuke. Me too. Alright. The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. Yep. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam, that's all. That was my mistake. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in the chest where he had clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. Okay. So, what can he say? What else can we know about this object, honestly? Also, so we have this now. So we can definitely tell, yep, we can see the wound. And then we can read a little bit more of the autopsy report. So, he was 47. 47, nationality British, time of death 21st of October around 2:20 p.m. Okay. Let's remember 2:20. Cause of death, a hemorrhage of the wound to the chest that pierced the heart. But then he also has a broken neck from the impact, so... But that's most likely not what killed him. Alright, so... How about we press on this statement, just to see a little bit more. The defense knew nothing of this crucial information.
The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense.
Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object?
Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This.
Ah, yes.
Oh, we're skipping through dialogue. Okay, here, let me see. What is the nature of this object? This particular. Oh, and then the judge says,
Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver. Wouldn't it, Counsel?
"Oh yeah, we did find that. We ran into that screwdriver earlier. I forgot about that." And then okay, here.
There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew!
Andrew? Of course.
Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family.
Oh gosh. I'm kind of scratching my throat a bit with that. I'm gonna be careful.
Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank.
Ah! That isn't...
It's blood. Beyond all reasonable doubt.
No.
And that's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
What? What?
Okay, so I guess we found the arrow that was in the crossbow that we have.
Order! Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence.
Ooh. There are traces of blood on the tip and it matches the shape of the victim's wound. So, one of Professor Hairbrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, so this fellow's the only one who could have done it. Interesting you say that, Gregson. Because we have a mysterious crossbow, but okay, you know what, first let's look at this first, you know. Very peculiar, though. This is blood. Mr. Asmund's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Alright, that's a very interesting statement, Naruhodo, I'm sure. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine. Oh yeah, it was lodged in the grill. Which could be important information. So I should definitely make a note of it. So we updated it to a metal screwdriver that was found poking through the grill in the base of what remains of the kinesis machine. It is a very distinct handle. Okay, and because we've known that it was pierced through that, that's something very interesting to note. Because I have a feeling that it was definitely probably launched through this. Because, like, Theoretically, it could be strung up here and then actually shot out. Because it is the A shape would help it. Surely. You know? But let's try to get more information on the Smith one that we assume. So, what? Because maybe we can present the screwdriver or the bow or something on the Smith statement. Is what I'm thinking. What grounds do you have for saying that?
Ha! Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage, in front of the whole crowd.
The victim, Mr. Artie Asmund, and the accused, Professor Hairbrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right, I saw him with my own eyes.
I don't know what voice I'm giving this. I keep mixing it up with like a couple of the older ones.
Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it.
Oh, we actually have a pursue this early. Normally we have to like go through like a whole sequence for that. Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor!
Ah! Sorry! I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body.
And the witness stand is the best place for that? It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's lax remark.
Ah! Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asmund, as you say.
Huh?
Explain, please, Professor.
Of course. This cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins.
I had heard.
Then surely you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath, no? A blood swimming pool. Ah! But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see? Not one!
True, I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. Wait, that's my job.
Order!
Nope, he's got the wine out. He's thinking, oh god, this shit.
Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friend's adducing.
Adducting? Adducing? Meh.
Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're too kind, Baroque. But I'm not really, I'm really not a patch on you.
Oh, and there it goes.
No, you're not.
No?
You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have?
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Ah, of course.
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this?
Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
Okay, so what is he changing it to? The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. Huh. But... Huh? But, like, we did find it in the grill. So... Technically, this is wrong because of that, right? Yeah, because... if it was still in his body, it wouldn't have been in the grill. Yeah. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood in the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding.
It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world.
Yes. But about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage.
What?
It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective that here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Ah, well, now that you come to mention it, yes.
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing.
Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been. Should it?
What are you getting at?
If this tool had been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest.
Wah!
Screaming.
Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector?
I don't.
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well.
You.
This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. Let's see what you did there. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Van Seeks is stumped. Whoa! Oh yeah, right, that's his voice in the dub, technically. I forgot about that.
Do you have something to say, witness?
Yes, I knew it. It bears out the equations hold. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry.
About what?
Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency.
What?
Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asmin's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations.
Oh my fucking god, this guy's an idiot. What? Oh my god, he's digging his own grave. And there goes the wine. My leg! Oh yeah. Oh my god, this guy's an actual idiot. He's actually stupid. I can't believe it. No, I can.
It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly we should hear the accused explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation?
Just when I'd found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists.
Very well. The defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord.
Why Apollo? No question it. Oh, yeah, you can actually see kind of in his name tag is actually written out somewhat correctly for Albert Herbrin. But looking away, really far away, it looks like adult tag. Which is kind of weird, but also kind of funny.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal, though... cannot transport metal, though. Hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the part patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
Everyone's just like, this man's an idiot.
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency. And therefore, Professor Albert Hairbrain could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Hairbrain,
Yes?
whose side are you on here? So you're on the side of science. Oh, okay.
I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend.
Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo.
Okay. The inconsistency explained. So let's see. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that the kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence the metal weapon that would have stayed put. It's metal statements are very important. Okay. In other words, the point just raised on Mr. Naruhodo isn't okay, we don't care about that one. Probably, I hope. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work would have been impossible. And now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. Okay, so these last few statements kind of seem a bit off. But he's still at the stage of gathering data in his research. And his hypothesis states that the kinesis can transport metal. I think this is important. He said it has to be metal, and that's why they went with wood. Yeah, like, the beam here is wood, this backing is wood, this is wood. Is this button metal? I guess that would count. And then, like, these glasses are metal. So it seems like something. It's like a little bit of an inconsistency, what do you think? Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? Metal? No! Metal can't. That's not... Metal? No!
We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should have also predicted that the metal rim spectacles would be found in the same place.
Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Order! Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If on the day in question the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit.
What? But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day! My experiment was a success! The experiment was proof of all my work!
If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society...
Ooh, really hitting that back of my throat, that really vibrates the coughing part.
Yes, juror number 4. Go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the records of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No, never! That machine is the answers of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
I can never just brush it out, about eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? I guess I should raise an objection. It probably would be, my job, but I guess I have to guess that. Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes? But even so...
Even so, what?
going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
Oh?
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money.
Ah!
If the government was foolish enough to have deemed this man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators? What would be the values of the grant? £10?
You're an order of magnitude. You're an order of magnitude out, madam. £500 a year.
Oh, what? You can live on someone that much for years.
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
No, I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Ah, Baroque.
And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Ah, Baroque. Where's this heading? I have no idea.
My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Van Zieks.
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats.
Eyewitnesses.
Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very like to hear from everyone, from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. The accused killed the financier, victim there on the public stage, before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend.
Oh, yes?
It's time for you to make your own stance clear.
There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
This feels like a very part 1 moment. Oh yeah, it's only been an hour. I guess we're going into part 2 today. Cool. That was like relatively short for the part 1 of the trial. Yeah, so yeah, with that, I guess we'll just keep going until we get to another investigation segment for the day. Very quick.
Mr. Naruhodo.
What on earth were you playing at just now? Rather... What on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start!
Sorry about that.
But you promised me! You said you proved that after the explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me!
Yes, I did make you a promise. You're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
But if I just run through some equations, you see, it's because my work is incomplete.
Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he?
Oh. Oh no! You're right. Oh, you're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not as a scientist, but as a human being.
Well, that might be a little over the top.
And while we're on the subject... What about Baroque? He's being awful.
Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean?
He's a disaster. Not as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Huh, but no. Wait, he's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore.
Glad that's cleared up, I guess. Also, come on, dude. That's your friend from, like, college. Can I double-check something with you?
Huh? Yes. What is it?
The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved?
I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it.
Alright, Professor. I understand.
Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. The court is about to be in session again. Make your way to the courtroom, please.
Oh, I guess we got the trusty bailiff every time now. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is as sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant.
A practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible.
So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Good question. Don't know. Probably just that he's innocent, you know? I feel like that's a good start.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution. Are you ready for the new witnesses to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord.
As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zeeks, I believe that these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes. Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable.
Perfect. A detective of all people. Wait, does that mean is Gina? Is that who he's talking about?
The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in.
Ooh, changed tone a bit a little there.
The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally.
So it's like Gina and somebody else, right? Oh, it's not. Oh no, never mind. There's Gina. Gina and two other people, I guess.
Witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court to hear.
Oh god, what the heck do I even use for this guy? What kind of voice would this guy have? Balthazar Lune. Balthazar? He's kind of stocky. I don't know what his speech patterns are like yet, so I can't really make a judgment of what is this guy like. What is this guy about, you know? He's got them balloons. Hot air balloon.
My name.
No.
My name is Balthazar Lune. I am the impresario of the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimental stage.
My name is Wilhelm Gustek Orst. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is gonna be a hard one to read. My name is Wilhelm Gostrek Sigismund Ormstein. I have come to see the great exhibition on the way, all the way from my home in Bohemia. I don't know what a Bohemian accent is like. Also, here's a coin, I guess. Oh, for a balloon. I see. I'm very rich. Inspector General Stride, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective, even Sherlock Holmes agrees. I was on security at the exhibition and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. I cannot hit my Gina pitch today, apparently. I'll try it. My best. Gina, again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from in a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it.
There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
You make it sound like they were in the cloud. Maybe that kind of. You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of 60 feet, very low. I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring out. I'm trying to settle on a voice for that guy. Well, you can't say nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet. About 18 meters, then.
Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court. kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage.
Okay. It was an incidente terrible. Oh, maybe.
I am Fusili, master of
Something. I don't remember that. Yeah, maybe a Fusili voice from Courage? Maybe. Let me try to see. It was an incidente terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Maybe kind of. I don't know. Still figuring out.
There's this huge bang from the stage, and then in the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
I have a feeling this case is going to be a lot of me having a very hard time doing voices for these people. It's such a mixed character bag this time compared to mostly the... I'm like everybody, all the other cases, like I really felt like I could just do British-ish sounding voices, you know? But yeah, this is quite a variety in comparison.
A most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I have not heard any mention of until now. Specifically that there were 2 explosions?
More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places. Yes.
Oh, okay.
When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called bird cage that contained the victim disappeared from the cage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes, with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. Also, here's another coin. Give me a balloon. I still have lots of money.
This judge is so fucking confused for this kid.
Precisely who is this curious infant? I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition.
Ja, I'm here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony.
Do we really need that?
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Ja, everybody says so.
Oh boy. Great disguise then.
The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was Mr. Asman on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay. It was a terrible incident. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and the next second, another bang in the sky beside us.
Hold it!
Let's get a little bit more information, Gina. So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air?
Yup. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer's a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together.
You know me so well.
Yes.
Well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think?
Everything. We saw everything, cause we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing onto the cage, and that dodgy professor pulling on the levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared just like that.
You're describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in my ear. Oh, I looked around and there was a huge, great fireball right next to us in the sky. And there was nothing there before.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, kid. You got something to say? Mr. Gotts, does your memory of the day differ?
My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Yes, what was it again?
Wilhelm Gostres Segers van Ornstein.
Just the 4 names, then? The point is, do you have something to say? Something that added in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps?
Oi! Get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade.
I gotta look that up later. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment?
That is not what I saw.
Oh?
Yeah. There was a second explosion and it was right beside the balloon. That is true. But I'm sure... Which is what I said in that one minute there was nothing there. The next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable.
Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Man, he's just giving away them balloons. Oh, and one spawned in its place. I didn't even notice that in the animation.
Just before the second explosion happened, right next to a balloon I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky.
Oh, and we have the green balloon. Oh, no, we have this from earlier. It's definitely a balloon that went kaboom. Oh, okay.
Huh? You what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. I'm gonna say the lie. That is not allowed. Flying the bleeding royalty card, are ya? Typical. This is the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interests of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say something more. It was not the sky that exploded, it was the green balloons that was next to ours at the time. Can I present the cloth then? Cause like, oh, it's shit. It's not a contradiction. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Judge. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
The whole exchange has been extremely jarring, yes.
Perhaps I just need to reconsider that. Okay, so I fucked that up. All this is doing is this is probably a trigger line that since we now know this information that the balloon exists. He saw a green balloon and he's saying that yeah, I think it was him. Yeah, there's a huge bang from the stage. Yeah, he was saying it was a terrible accident, but I'm grateful that none of my balloons were damaged. But the kid said there was a green balloon, and we got this! Okay, there we go. I presented on the wrong statement. My bad. It happens, though. Mr. Lunet, in your testimony, you said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged.
See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible.
Terrible. Oh, terrible.
It would have been terrible.
I wonder if you might know what this is.
Ah, I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope.
I don't know how to do a Spanish accent very well. Sorry, the envelope?
Pardon, that is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air.
I keep going to like a French, I think.
It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky.
Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Lunet, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No!
Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, I just haven't just been £10 of the experience. How awful.
Seems like those things have crashed 50% of the time anyway.
Blah, blah, blah.
The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of the materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon, causing the balloon to explode. Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This I cannot accept.
Why not, Mr. Lunet?
You are suggesting that I am a liar. A person died in a balloon incident. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Lunet. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Lunet is not a liar. There is no such balloon in the sky. It is not possible.
Sorry. You're saying it's impossible? Why?
This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day.
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Linné.
I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah, grazie, my lord. I am Fusil. Yeah, I think that works.
As I said, Balthazar Linné is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. Carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe.
But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
This stupid Ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Oh, okay.
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you? Si, Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia.
If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war. All out war.
Oh, here's a balloon anyway. What happened to all-out war? Mr. Linné certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here.
If the defense is unable to find fault with the witnesses' statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend.
The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
Okay. Okay, so what do we got to work with? Again. Balthazar Linné is no liar. Every balloon in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. They fell to the ground in an explosion that would be a catastrophe, but I can't away from the fact that it burnt up a bit of cloth that was found on the scene, though. The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris from the explosion, and he's saying, this stupid Ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Hold it!
Okay, so this feels like it's something we have to get more info on. You mean the color is wrong?
Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon.
Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say the green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question.
Why not?
There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate as I'm sure you would agree. You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon incident that predates the exhibition? Si, exactamente. as the senor says it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly, this little ragazza from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
Excuse me. Okay, this kid's very angry. Is something wrong, Master Gotts?
It's Master Wilhelm Gottsstein!
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Ja, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear it all over Bohemia.
You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. Nothing. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh?
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
What?
Good gracious!
What? Yeah, same. Like, what? You had a photograph this whole time? What? What? Okay.
I had not been up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, and of the hot air cellar, the balloon.
What the? Okay. And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that?
Ja, one picture.
Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
Never mind that. Can you show us the photograph?
Of course. And then you will see. You will see, I am not lying, that I really did see a green balloon.
I'm happy for the kid. Also, kid, we can't tell what color the balloon is.
Well, I see you're all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man. Perhaps you cannot see.
Oh, no, that's the kid. Sorry.
Ja, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault! That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera!
Oh god. Oh god, he's crying. There was one very bohemian sounding cry. Oh, it even had like the little marks of the va.
Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence.
Okay, so we have this film evidence now. I guess I should look at it after.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
You don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Oh, okay.
Well, as you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig.
Lovely language you've picked up. As I thought, Mr. Lunay's testimony just doesn't quite add up. Oh, is he covering it up? The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon. But Mr. Lunay vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. My balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, well, look at that. Okay, so let's look at that photo we were given, right? So they're in the balloon, right? That has passengers, clearly. And the kid's claiming that this is the green balloon. Also, there's something flying up towards it, which I just only noticed now. Something very bright. Not coming from the experiment, mind you. It's coming from, like, below the podium, almost. Like, if I had to draw, like, follow the trajectory, it's kind of, like, more, like... Seems like it's more from, like, below the platform, you know? This trajectory right here. So, somebody's doing something, and that could be the crossbow. What if they shot the crossbow, shot the screwdriver that somehow was... They had the screwdriver, shut up, hit the balloon, it exploded, and it rebounded somehow from the explosion, and hit him in the chest. I'm gonna work with that. Also, I need to present this, because he said all the balloons that he had passengers, but this doesn't have one, so... Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else. Something crucially important.
What? What would that be?
It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Ah, my goodness! You're right! But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See, they're for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Which tells us that the picture balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a 4th balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
I knows nothing. Niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Objection!
I like how his little balloon hat puffs up.
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Linné's patch without him realizing. See, the competition is trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage.
This 4th balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below.
Right. So, them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks, they didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. But cause no one was in it, it didn't get no attention.
A mysterious 4th balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case. This relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
Everyone's not convinced. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No. I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up. Not in our favor. Oh, really? They don't look like they're made up. What else can this photograph tell us? There's something more we can learn from it. There's more. I see the little line. I see the line that I mentioned earlier. Gotta point it out. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait! Please don't give your decisions yet.
the photograph of Mr. Gotts, may well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that? A vital clue?
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now. So tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove?
The cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Ja, that's right, ja. It was not my fault.
Evidently, because the birdcage from the Kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon being fired with flammable hydrogen instantly and explosively ignited.
No, that's not what happened.
What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, will you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court?
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests that the real reason the balloon exploded is... Oh god, please let me point this correctly. Okay, there we go. The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon.
Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear that what the nature of this bright line really is.
Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes?
Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day. I believe we may be looking at fire. A bolt fire heading straight for the balloon like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word! Are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that fueled the balloon?
Objection!
Oh, okay, or flaming arrow. That makes more sense than the screwdriver explanation I came up with.
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time.
Oh yeah, that makes way more sense. It's a fucking thick balloon. Why would? Okay, you know what? Yeah, yeah, flaming arrow. Yep.
No flame could have possibly reached such a height.
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen.
What evidence?
If such evidence exists, counsel, then for goodness sake present it, man! Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord! Is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used too deliberately?
Blimey, you're right. That streak of light in the photo looks like just like an arrow, doesn't it?
Then the explosion of the balloon, it was
very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow, igniting the hydrogen gas inside it.
No. Order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition!
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge. Of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could have been fired at the balloon silently.
Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic.
But with this big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no?
I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this. But something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued...
What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all, or what?
My goodness me.
Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. Huh. I guess... Huh. I did suppose that it was like a... Because that mannequin got stolen in the earlier part of the case, right? In the last episode. And, like, the whole mannequin disappearing was just like, why is this a thing? You know? So, what if they got... what if they got, like, the mannequin and they used it as a body double for the guy who died, right? And then they're trying to trick the scientist into thinking that his, like, experiment worked. So, like, was the guy escorted onto the stage to be put into the birdcage, or was he just already in the birdcage? I don't know what the timing is, because I think he was moving in the cutscene, right? I have to watch that back later, but so if we suppose that the mannequin is used as a fake body on the platform, then the real guy could have been hiding in a balloon, waiting for someone to shoot the balloon to pop it so he would land into the correct spot. But, like, would it be the case that he was in the balloon, or the mannequin was in the balloon? Wait, there was a cloud of smoke on the stage, though. So what if it was real guys on the stage, fake guys in the balloon, and what they were going to do is when the steam happened, that the scientist didn't know about, because I don't think he knew that there was going to do that, they were going to do a swap on the stage for the real guy and let the mannequin show up on the demonstration portion of the Crystal Tower. And in that ensuing smoke, someone stabbed him in the cage instead of, you know, hiding him or whatever. And then they still went through the plan of hiding the cage. Everyone was panicking, so they didn't see what happened to with him landing on the tower. So what I'm supposing is he got murdered on the stage. Everyone panicked, and then all that happened, and they hid the body in the stage. When everyone, like, kind of ran away, they had the opportunity to bring his real body to where the fake cage was, destroy the evidence of it, because it was wood, essentially, and then just put in the real cage with the guy dead there. I think that's how they did it. I think that's what it's going for.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground.
causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you would all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Good grief!
Objection!
Okay, so yeah, he pretty much explained what I'm thinking as a possibility, but we'll see, right? Like I remember like thinking of something that like made sense, and then it turned out it was faked in the first game. So we'll see.
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemplative display of stage magic.
Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility, and there's like a magician in the, in the jury stand. So, in which case this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
In my case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the Crystal Tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
If I may put a word... No. If I may put a word as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3! All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Osmond, and having this other man appear on stage in front of the show as a body double. Yes, of course! So in fact, Mr. Asmund must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
Okay, so opposite of what I thought, because I feel like he wasn't moving. I'm not too sure.
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded.
You see, that's my point too.
No one would have embarked on such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend on the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4?
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio? Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
So everything that happened can be explained logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asmund, was never present at the public experimentation stage to begin with.
Nah.
In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant who was on stage in full view of the entire time. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zieks can't credibly maintain that Professor Hairbrain is a suspect now.
Oh god, it's Hairbrain, isn't it? God damn it. It is him.
Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Professor?
But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please.
I'm sorry?
What's this all about, Mr. Hairbrain?
I, Albert Hairbrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Oddie Osman. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew, the screwdriver.
Oh. What are you doing? He's that determined to protect his hypothesis that he's gonna... This guy's an idiot. He's actually stupid. I fucking hate him. I hate this character so much. Oh my god, why?
Order! 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 Defendant, explain the sudden confession.
Professor Hairbrain, what are you talking about?
It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all in an elaborate prank. But where's your proof? No. You'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it. But then it would be all over. All be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it.
It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you just
Baruch!
Yes?
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please. Show the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation.
I actually fucking hate this character now. Like, I thought he was okay, now I fucking hate him. I fucking hate him. He's so fucking stupid. Oh my god.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice at this critical juncture.
Yeah, I need a drink too, Vanzigs. I need a drink too. But I think you're drinking for a different reason.
Here's to my learned Nepalese friend.
What?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession.
Oh, thank god.
You intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick. Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that this machine was genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
Oh boy.
Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
Fucking... It's a trick. Fucking, he's dealing with criminals. Like, what else is it gonna be, right? What Professor Hairbrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence? Or do I uphold my client's requests, but see him condemned? Oh, whoops. Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nepalese mind?
Mr. Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something, but what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact a conjuring trick. I'm sorry. Sorry, stupid fucking hairbrain. You're so dumb. You're so dumb. Ah! No, I can't say it. My client placed his faith in me. I can't just let him down.
What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's, what can I protect?
Oh, it is her. Wait, it's her. Wait. I thought it was. I wouldn't mean her. I thought it was Sherlock. I thought it was Sherlock. It was her. Oh, so that's what Iris was leaving for. That makes so much sense. Ah, Carol, thank you for the raid. Wow, you came in at a very. You came at a very interesting time point. You came in right when Best Girl came back. Welcome, welcome, readers. I'm URAunitB or Drago. I'm a variety streamer. I'm playing The Greatest Attorney Chronicles, and I'm on the second game and playing the third episodes. And I just got to this part of the trial, and Susato's back, baby. How's it going, Karen? How was your stream? Are you okay after the? Oh my god. I remember seeing what game you were playing, but I completely forgot the name. I'm like, my brain is dead right now. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, Soma. How was Soma, Kira? Was your brain surviving Soma? Did you have a good time? Also, yeah. Sorry, real quick. All right. We just got past Omicron. Almost there. Nice, nice, nice. I hope you keep enjoying that game. I've watched it. I think I've watched a couple playthroughs of it, but I don't remember like too much of it. So I'll definitely watch through you playing through it to get a refresher. But yeah, glad to hear you having fun. You love the game story. Oh, even better. Perfect, perfect. Okay, sorry, back to... For a second I thought it was Sherlock, but apparently Iris is bringing back Best Girl!
Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long.
Susato-san? But what are you... Hiya! Oh, my back's broken. Ah! My first Susato takedown in 6 months!
There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand.
Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Hairbrain, the worst fucking character. I fucking hate you.
Ah! Yes?
Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes.
Yes, of course.
And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. You don't like Hairbrain? This whole last segment, Kiro, of him being like, my experiment is gonna be real! I must he made me so fucking mad. I was like, I fucking hate this character. Just for that whole part. Oh god. Maybe he'll make it up to me, you know? But god damn it. That's the whole last part. He pissed me off so much. Oh god. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyways.
So, you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer.
Ah,
Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Baroque! Lord Van Zeeks.
gosh. I've never heard him speak that way before.
In truth, there is one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance.
What?
On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon?
Sir. Bruh.
Professor! Yes, Professor! Does the man have any distinguishable figures? What do he look like?
Tall, taller than me, and thin, thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see, one less lens than me too. A monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well.
Well, he was holding a crossbow. Yeah, exactly.
After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
What? He built the machine?
That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber.
Enoch? Drebber? Does this man name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination. Not a name a conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he? I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money. Then, when magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhanded tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before. The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you.
He's been tricked, bamboozled. He's been speckle-dwarfed. Well, when you work with a criminal, I guess it's bound to happen, right?
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion.
Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, then a work of deception, then everything I worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built. And the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
Okay, he's slowly redeeming himself. He's slowly redeeming himself after him basically trying to get himself convicted for the sake of his hypothesis, which was pissing me off. I mean, fair, but it was still pissing me off. Ah! He's a reverse Natsume. It's true. You're right. He is a reverse Natsume. That's a good way to describe him.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money.
I did really like him in this opening cutscene, though.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, the teleportinator! It was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Mr. Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes. Please, go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Damn. It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Six, my lord. The court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about this man, if possible. I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one more thing, and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning. Please be sure to get your evidence on my desk by tomorrow morning so that I may properly give you a grade for the final. It's worth 60% of your grade.
Mr. Naruhodo!
Yes?
I'm so sorry! I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. I trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry!
Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebber was really up to, I mean, and what he was really constructing?
Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it.
Alright. In that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow.
Well, thank you for doing so much for me.
Best girl, best girl, best girl.
I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo.
arriving late?
Didn't you retrieve my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive.
Postcard? What postcard?
I hid it from you, Runo, so it would be a surprise. Well, did it work?
I was surprised, all right. Especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
You know what, Susato? I totally get it. You know? Susato, you know, this is basically that feeling, like when you see something that's like really, really cute, and you're just like, wow, this thing is so cute. I could just push it down a flight of stairs. You know? Like, I feel like that's the kind of feeling she gets when she sees Naruhodo, you know? She's just like,
Oh my gosh. Look at him go. He's doing his best.
I'm gonna flip him to the floor.
you have 6 months worth of not throwing me to the ground to make up for it. Oh, man. Lurk. Oh, boy.
Maybe we could stick to a more traditional just displays of emotion in future.
Sissy's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh,
Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you back in London.
oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Makotobo not protest?
Let's save all the conversation for when we're back at the home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I can't wait.
Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. Oh, okay. That rolled in a little bit later than I was expecting. Alright. Part 1 and 2 of that trial was a lot quicker than I was expecting. So, yeah. That's great. Only 2 hours and 20 minutes or so of reading. That's good. That was really nice and comfy. And it's next week I can pick up again with Investigation Part 2. And see how long that is. If that one lasts pretty long, then I'll probably only do that part. But, yeah. Okay. So, Professor Hairbrain. As Kiro described, yeah, he's basically reverse Natsume, and at that one point, he did piss the hell out of me off, but, you know, he got tricked. And, you know, I think he's gonna make up for it in the next, I'm sure he's gonna make up for it in the next part. Like, I liked him a lot in the beginning of when he got introduced. But it's gonna take a little bit of effort to make me forgive him for what he did to me in that last part of that trial. Well, yeah. Excited to see where the story goes after this, because I had that whole theory I kind of spat out in the middle of that whole balloon explanation thing, so I can't wait to see if there's some extra stuff that we don't know about for the whole magicianship stuff happening there. The sleight of the trickery. There could be more to that entire scene than I was expecting. Or that I'm guessing, you know? After all, Andrew has to come into play of probably being the thing that stabbed him. Well, I think they confirmed that it was the thing that stabbed him, but like... guessing that there's somebody that really wanted that guy dead during the smoke part. And like you can see him moving, and then they were talking about body doubles. But I keep thinking about the mannequin from the last case, from the investigation section part 1, because they were like, this mannequin's missing, and it's like, oh, we need something that pretends to be a body double. But for some reason, the explanation that Naruhodo gives is that he thinks that the real guy was in the balloon. But I think it was the opposite, whereas the real guy is in the tower, and then the fake guy is in the balloon, so that the guy in the tower can hide, and then it falls down, right? So if it falls down, then there's less chance of him snapping his neck, like that he apparently has a snap neck, right? So, like, I really think that what it's gonna end up being is that real guy's gonna be in the tower. The fake one that they mentioned that's in the balloon, which was a really weird thing to think about, was literally inside the balloon. I thought that was interesting. Like, I'm thinking it's the real guy there. Smoke happens. He's trying to get escorted out, but then before he gets escorted out, someone stabs him in the heart with the screwdriver, throws the screwdriver into the grate or something, and then just lowers down his cage somewhere where nobody can see. Everybody's panicking because the balloon burst. The thing fell onto the tower. So what they're probably thinking is, like, everybody's like distracted by that and probably ran away. And then, like, people are trying to, like, the police are trying to, like, gather before they're gonna, like, get there. Gina is in a balloon, so she can't really do anything in that whole situation. So they're probably trying to get down and everything. So I'm assuming that that's the perfect opportunity to do a body swap. And then, like, since the bird cage is made of wood, and, like, that balloon essentially exploded in, like, a kind of fiery burst, right? So it's kind of like the hydrogen and then the fire lighting the hydrogen. So the cage feasibly could have, like, burned up. Not completely, but, like, there might be remnants of it, and then, like, they swapped it somewhere. And then, like, if my assumption that the mannequin that got stolen from the museum is being used as the body double, which makes a lot of sense with the whole explanation of it being in the balloon. Because it's kind of really weird to think about that, unless they're just really gonna go with that. But, like, yeah, like, and if it's a fire, an explosion, it's feasible that the mannequin could have melted or been something. It could have been hidden away in the explosion. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just my assumptions. And then, like, but they didn't really look into the body until later. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my assumption on the whole thing. So I'm curious to see where it goes, because in the case with I want to say Glomgold, but that's that's DuckTales. But yeah, with McGilded, like, that whole thing in the first game, I was like, oh, the explanation that I can see the explanation of it. Oh, the carriage, he fell through the ceiling or whatever, right? That whole thing, like, it sounded believable. Then it turns out that was all fake. So, like, I'm just thinking, like, okay, well, I think it's this, and it seems like it's really leading to this. But what could be possibly thrown in there to throw off whatever explanation I'm trying to think of, you know? That could be slightly altered from what it actually is. And that's what I'm really curious, if it's gonna be anything different or if it's gonna be exactly what I'm thinking. It would be really cool, though, to see if my guess is correct, you know? What? Yeah, this is really cool. I really, really like the second game. And, like, I already like the first game, but, like, the second game is really just, like, it's so good. It's, like, a really good continuation. So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm really happy that I got to continue this week after taking, like, a 3-week break. Thank you, Kiro. I'm very happy. I'm enjoying it too. Alright, so definitely next week I really want to continue it around the same time. Probably a little bit earlier, because today I actually had to, like, do something after work that, like, caused me to, like, assume I was gonna be late, and I kind of was. So the extra 30 minutes helped, but it'll probably be back around 9 p.m. PSPT next week, I think, unless something comes up. Sometimes things just come up, and I can't do much about it. But yeah, let's go look for somebody who's online. I think it might be Kip, because I think. Yep. All right. All right, everyone. We're heading over to Kip. They're singing, and they're celebrating our good pal Cassie. Let's all go over there and enjoy some good old music with Kip.
I hope you all have a good rest of your night, and I shall see you the next time, which I don't know what it would be. It's either Gorilla sometime in between today and next week, and if not, then I'll see you on Friday. All right, good night.